Welcome back, everyone. Last month, the American Heart Association released its new guidelines about changes to CPR. People using it are now urged to start with hard, fast chest compressions before giving mouth-to-mouth. CPR instructor Paul Krodel is here to tell us all about the guidelines and to demonstrate some of those changes for us. Good to see you. How's everything?
It's going well. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited about this conversation because this is obviously information people need to know. What led to the changes, though? Was there something wrong with the CPR that our parents practiced?
Well, there wasn't anything wrong. Basically, you had a lot of issues with a lot of bystanders that would stand by and wouldn't get themselves involved because they didn't feel like they were adequately trained to perform CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation. So the American Heart Association determined that if we can start doing chest compressions quicker, than checking for the airways or checking for the breathing. If we can start doing the chest compressions quicker, there's a greater occurrence that people are going to be revived.
Now, the chest compressions themselves are for blood flow.
Correct, yes, to the heart and to the brain. Because you want to make sure that you're getting oxygenated blood up into the brain.
Is that really more important than someone breathing, than getting that air passage open?
Absolutely. What they want to do is make sure that they're getting the heart pumping, whether it be manually or by a defibrillator.
All right, so say I'm on the street. Someone passes out or falls down. What do I need to do? What's the process? What are the A's, B's, and C's of all of this?
Well, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to make sure that that individual is unresponsive. Tap them on the shoulder, try to get their attention. Obviously, if they're not giving you any verbal communication, then they're unresponsive. What you're going to do then is either yourself or have someone else call 911 because you want to get a emergency medical technician there as quickly as possible.
As someone who hasn't been trained, I believe my first instinct would be to check breathing. That, I think, would be my first instinct. I suspect probably other people's instinct.
Well, that's a lot of people's thought process, to check their breathing or to check pulse. But those things kind of have gone out the window. Now they want immediately to start doing chest compressions because they want to make sure that the blood flow to your heart and to your brain has not ceased.
Okay, so then in doing chest compressions, what kinds of things do people need to keep in mind? Where do they compress? I mean, the chest is a pretty wide area.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's a couple of different rules of thumb. Some people say get the equal distance between their nose and their belly button, or some people say try to check between the nipples and get that area there. I've always used the best thought process. Take your two fingers, go up the side of the rib cage till it stops, and at that point, that's where you're actually going to place the palm of your hand.
Okay, that's the sternum, correct?
Correct.
Okay, go ahead. So how does one go about then doing the chest compressions properly?
Well, doing the chest compressions, you're going to have, I'm going to need to stand to do this, you're going to have it, place your hand there, you're going to be at that point, you're going to make sure that mostly people are going to be on the ground, you're going to be kneeling in front of them, lock your elbows, and you're going to be pressing into these people as quickly as possible. The old thought process was a chest compression of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now they want to make sure that you're doing it at 100 beats per minute ratio. So you're going to do it much, much quicker.
So you're doing this as fast as you possibly can, basically.
And you want to make sure that you're going down about 2 inches to make sure that you're getting complete compression of the chest. And so when you bring back up, you're going to have a complete release. And so that compression itself is actually pumping the blood for the heart.
I was just getting ready to ask. So basically, you're simulating a heartbeat.
Correct.
Is that ultimately what you're doing?
Exactly right, yes.
Now, my other thought, and this goes back to high school, they always said stay away from the sternum because you can break the sternum. You're saying get on the sternum.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
You know, the human body is a miracle in itself. And so making sure that you're compressing as firmly and as quickly as possible, that's what's going to be the most important part.
Is there a danger of breaking the sternum? I mean, there are some people who probably would think that they're underestimating their strength and might be scared.
Of course, the sternum it's a hinge for your chest. And you're going to have to really go down extremely hard to actually break that. But what's more important, getting the person back to a heartbeat or bruising or breaking a rib? I think it's more important to try to get that heart beating.
At what point in time should one then go to opening the airwaves and doing mouth-to-mouth, or is mouth-to-mouth just off the table now?
Well, if you've been trained in CPR, it's not off the table. If you haven't been trained, go ahead and just continually do the chest compressions until either that person comes back or is revived, or you are relieved by someone of a higher authority or a better training.
And so the chest compressions really are a foolproof thing. The ultimate idea, just keeping the body oxygenated, that will limit any major damage, even if the person isn't necessarily breathing.
That's correct, because there's still plenty of oxygen in your blood.
All right, good stuff. Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming by and giving me a little bit of a lesson. Now I think I'm better equipped if someone happens to fall down around me.
All right, well, thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome back anytime.